Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. I am pleased to announce that we have a special guest with us today, Susan Corley. I will give you a very brief introduction to Susan, and Susan will go through her entire resume from the day she was born until now, momentarily. So, Susan, I can actually remember the day that Susan came in as a prospective agent, and I happened to be running the career day that day.
Yeah.
And I thought that was, I distinctly remember it. She's an above average soon-to-be realtor, and I think that was obvious from the very beginning. When I was chatting with Andy several years ago about taking over the team leader role, he asked me a question. He says, "What are you going to do with your business?" Right? And I said, "Well, I'm going to find somebody in the office who wants to take it over." And he says, "Who do you have in mind?" And I said, "Susan Corley." And then he says, "Well, I'm actually meeting with her at like 3:30 today about being the assistant team leader. How would you feel about that?" Right? And as we all know, I took over the team leader role. Susan ultimately was hired as the assistant team leader. And we had a lot of fun together for about a year and a half. And we have now moved on to our current roles. But I've always admired Susan's genuine desire to help people, genuine care and love for people. And not to say that I think in the year and a half or so that we worked together, we rubbed off on each other a little bit. I softened up and you hardened up a little bit. So
in a good way.
Exactly. I think now you have the ability to have care and candor conversations with people, and have increased your skill at the candor side, and I have increased my skill at the care side. So it was a pleasure working closely with you for that amount of time, and I'm really proud of you taking the initiative to step into the agent mentor role, the lead agent mentor role, which is what Susan does today. And I'm just going to allow you to take the reins and maybe tell us a little bit of your life pre-real estate, and tell us a little bit about what Roswell means to you, what Keller Williams means to you, and let's make sure all of our agents understand fully what the agent mentor does.
Okay. Thanks, Bill. That was very sweet, all of your kind words that you said. So, gosh, where do I start? Okay, first of all, it's funny because that class was 5 years ago, almost exactly, because just beginning this week was, Maddie took a picture of me at my first day at real estate school, because I always made the kids stand in front of the house for their first day of school. So she was like, "You got to have a picture." And she followed me there. It was hysterical. And so, yeah. And then I went to the class, I think it was like a week into my real estate school that I came to the career day. So that is kind of funny. And I was excited. You know, I was excited about what KW had to offer. I was excited about real estate and what it had to offer. So yeah, and it's like my only regret I have is that I didn't do it 10 years prior. Because I think it's so much fun. I love helping people. I love helping the agents. And I had friends that begged me to get my license about 10 years prior, and I didn't. And when I did get my license, they were like, "Are you kidding me?" I'm like, "I know, I'm sorry, but that's okay. It wasn't the right time." You know, we all know that sometimes that timing is just what it is.
From your device, search on your device.
Billy. Are you multitasking? Okay. Anyway, so my previous life, gosh, I've done so many different things, but probably biggest in my life, I was a stockbroker for 15 years. And so I used to joke around because I was a child psychology major, an econ and child psychology, or child development, I should say, not psychology. And I used to joke around that it worked really well on the other stockbrokers, because they were all a bunch of big babies. And it's kind of funny because it works really well also on not only agents in the office, maybe on occasion, but also with clients, because we all know that clients don't necessarily behave the way we hope they will or think they should. I've had a couple really good cases of that recently, and it just kind of, I scratch my head after, and then I kind of say, you know what, I maybe have too high of expectations on how humans should act in stressful situations. And that's part of our job, is to help guide them through and hopefully not be stressed about it or talk them through why they are stressed. Anyway, so I got into real estate 5 years ago exactly. It was really exciting. I interviewed a bunch of different firms, and for me, Keller Williams really spoke because I used to work at Charles Schwab, which is an amazing firm, but I had worked at a bunch of other brokerage firms prior to that, and most of them weren't so amazing, let's just say. It was a very, if they had sexual discrimination cases back then, or if you could even say anything back then, goodness gracious, most of the firms would be shut down because it was pretty awful. I won't lie, especially being a female. But Charles Schwab was like that great firm that had, it was a great culture. It was great training. It was great opportunities if I wanted to grow. And I had been missing that kind of ever since then. And gosh, I left them 20 years ago because that's when I left California. And I was lucky enough to be home with my kids for a while. So, most of their life kind of working on project stuff and helping people out with some consulting to kind of, pay for the soccer and the lacrosse and the band trips and all that good stuff. So when I got into real estate, I don't know, I was just really excited about it because I finally figured out in my life the thing I've always loved doing, no matter what job I've done. And I've done ad specialty sales. I have done fundraising. I've done catering. I've done party planning. I've done a lot of crazy things. And all of them had this common thread of helping people. And I never really looked at that and kind of looked at how all of them were. And as you probably can guess, I'm a little bit of a high I. I like being in front of a crowd. I love talking to people. My mom used to joke around saying there's not a wall out there that I haven't made friends with. Because if I was in the corner for, having a timeout, the wall would still be my best friend by the time I was done. So, it's just kind of funny how that works out. So helping people is kind of my main thing. And I loved doing the ATL role. But one of the regional requirements is that you're not in production anymore. And I wasn't done selling real estate because I hadn't really done it for a long time. I love selling real estate. I love working with my clients. So that's why I opted to step down and step into the mentor role, because the mentor role gives me pretty much all the best part of it and still lets me sell real estate. I'm doing probably less recruiting now, but I'm still helping the agents. So know that I'm always here for you. I'm 1-800-REAL-ESTATE-BABE is my text. I'm teasing, it's not, but I'll put it in the chat so any of you who don't have it now. But I love helping the agents because here's the thing. I had people who helped me when I started, and I'm always been a very big, strong supporter of that, paying it forward, and helping people because someone helped me and I knew how important that was for my career and for my business. And so, I don't know, to me, it's just a no-brainer. I love sharing things with people. Hey, I figured out this really easy way to do something. It's like, who doesn't want the easier way? That sort of stuff. So know I'm here for that. Know that I'm here to help you with DocuSign. I struggle through it just as you guys do. I had a situation this morning that I had to do something, but I figured out the workaround. Feeling very proud of myself, I won't lie. Just know it's not perfect, but it's a great way to do your business, and it also doesn't give Zillow access to all of your clients, and you don't really want to have that. So I'm here for that, and I promise you, I will never pretend to know something. If I don't know something, I'll find the right person who does. I can kind of BS my way through a lot of things, but I know when it comes to things that help your business, if I don't know how to do that, I'm not going to pretend that I do. So, and I don't claim to know everything, but I'm really good at knowing who does because I have a lot of numbers in this phone. And so whether it's a painter guy or a cement guy or a tech guy or a marketing guy, I can help you with that. So no, I'm always here. I'm a really great texter. I have a 22 and a 24-year-old, so that's the only way they talk to me most days. So know that. I also turn my phone off at 9 o'clock at night. It goes to auto shutdown so that if you text me after that, I'm not going to hear it because I've got it turned off. I used to say, if I'm awake, I'll answer your text. And then I realized that 1 in the morning, I was doing people's contracts for them and I shouldn't be doing that. So
yeah, Susan, that was a weekly discussion of Susan and I's.
Seriously, that was probably one of the best things I ever got from Bill. Highest on the list, at least. is the fact that I have learned to protect the me time and my family time better. So just know that, but I'll get back to you. I promise. Let's see. So let's go into.
Hang on. We got
Okay,
some more
okay.
questions for you. What do you think has caused you to be so successful? Because you kind of came right out of the gates, and you were listing homes and buying homes and referrals here and there. I mean, what caused that success?
You know what? I think I've been lucky because I've been involved in a lot of things. I've been always really involved with my kids' activities, involved with friends. If they have special causes, I'll jump in to help out. So people know that my personality is about getting it done and doing a great job. And so I think the best thing I did when I first started in real estate is I didn't call people and say, hey, I decided to get my real estate license. I sent out a card. I printed it up on Vistaprint and I pre-printed them, mailed them out to everyone I knew all over the country, and then emailed stuff to any of my expat friends, because I have a decent amount of those. Being from the Bay Area, I have a lot of people who are in technology, and they're, scattered all over the world. And I just let them know, hey, I'm now with KW. I didn't say, hey, I got my real estate license. I said, I'm now with Keller Williams. And most of them scratched their head and said, that makes so much sense for you, because they knew the culture, the fit, the training, all that stuff just was a match for me, because that's what I had missed not having that ever since I left Charles Schwab. My first client ended up being a referral from a friend of mine in Hong Kong. So don't think that you only have to look at your people who are here in Atlanta. You want to look at people all over the country for referrals. I've gotten several referrals from friends that are out of Georgia. I'm not from Georgia. I've lived here for 11 years now, so I have a pretty good base of people. But, I lived in Ohio for 8 years, and then I was, out in California for the rest of my life. So utilize those networks that and let people know that you can help them with friends that are coming here to Atlanta. But if they have friends that are moving to Dallas or Utah or wherever, you can help them find an agent, and then create a referral situation. So I've been kind of doing that. And then I just kind of work my friends. I mean, I tend to probably do too much with my clients. I have been known to be there at midnight, packing up the last of that box, squeezing into the passenger seat on the truck with clients, because, somehow the closing packing didn't go according to the closing schedule quite, which will happen. It will happen more often than not. But I'm kind of a get her done sort of girl. So my clients know that, I'll be there with them through the whole process. And that helps. And I can say legitimately, my business is 97% friends and referral. The 3% were call desk. And it was really one call desk. So it probably shouldn't even, my numbers, I should reanalyze them a different way. But I had one call that I got on call desk who I ended up buying him a house. We have sold that house and bought him another house. And then he gave me 2 referrals of purchases on that. So out of that one phone call, I got 5 transactions. And I kind of considered those other ones friends and referral, but I think originally in my numbers, I have them under call desk, kind of other, but they're friends now. So that's important.
So,
let everyone know that you're in real estate.
So one thing that this isn't going to surprise you probably that some of our folks are struggling with is, once they've contacted all the people that they know, right? Those people are in their database. They've direct messages, they've done LinkedIn, they've done Facebook, like they've called everyone they know. And maybe they got a deal or 2 out of that, but it's not like sending them a ton of business. And they say, well, gosh, I still need more appointments, or I need more listings, or I need more closings. I know that you were never, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe you were ever the, let's go buy a headset and call a cold list of people.
Oh God, no. I used to call China when I was a stockbroker. So thank you, never again.
So how did you build your business without a huge network here and without calling a bunch of strangers?
Sometimes I think it's dumb luck, really. But I think it's also just continuously having those conversations and continuously coming from value. For example, I have a neighbor who is selling a really cute ranch with a pool in my neighborhood. And I have some clients it would be perfect for, but they're still kind of dragging their feet. But I said, can I come over and just look at it? Now I know she's listing it with her agent who she bought it with, because we've already had that conversation. And I asked her, I said, so where are you going again? She says, she's going to, God, where in Florida? I can't think where in Florida, Jacksonville. And I said, oh, do you have an agent there? She's like, no, not yet. And I said, oh my gosh, let me hook you up. I have a friend of mine who's a great agent there. She can help you out. Boom, referral.
By the way, that does not sound salesy to me. Does anyone think that sounds salesy?
No. I joke around, I say, I got a guy. I come from value. Oh, you need some new flooring? You'll love my flooring guy. He's amazing. You guys are going to paint? Oh, let me give you my painter. He is so reasonable. He does a great job. Oh, you need this? Like, I am a number slut. Like, I get someone's number and boom, boom, boom. I plug it in. That's what my husband calls me. Because it's like, you never know when you're going to need that resource. And now, even if it's a female, I still put in at the end of their business name, I put guy. Because then I just type in guy, and I've got my plumber guy, electric guy, fix-it guy, flooring guy, painter guy, all that different things, landscaping guy. So I'm always be able to, like, out of the, literally pulling up my phone, I can do that. For that same gal, my neighbor, she was telling me what she was finishing up to put the house on the market. She goes, yeah, I've got to find some place to get countertops. I'm like, oh, I've got a great guy for countertops. He used to live in the neighborhood. Let me give you his name. He'll do a great job for you and give you a great price. Just tell him I sent you. And what that does too, is that is establishing those relationships with my vendor partners who on occasion will be like, hey, I think I have someone who might want to buy a house. It's funny, my cleaners, who are the sweetest humans in the whole entire world, I love them. They come every other week. That's like my big splurge for myself. Is like, I'm going to do leverage. And if someone else can scrub my floors for me, which I hate doing, I'm happy to pay I pay them $85 every other week. Like, that's not even a Starbucks habit I had to kick. It's like far less than that. Anyhow.
They can clean your home for $85?
Oh yeah, they're awesome. You may not have them.
My lady's twice that. Send me her information, please.
Yeah, no, they're great. And they do my floors, and they know I hate doing my floors. I have 2 dogs who make my floors dirty on a minutely basis. Especially on a muddy day. So anyway, but
what else that does, if I can just chime in one thing, is not only does it support the vendors who will likely support you in the future, but it also connects the two of you, right? So now, for example, let's say you introduce this prospect to a granite person. And then they end up hiring the granite person. They probably aren't going to interview more than one granite person because they didn't even have a relationship to start with. Then the granite person shows up and they notice, say, oh, isn't Susan great, right? And they're validating that relationship. And then it becomes it's like a no-brainer that because they used your vendor, they're going to use you. So it actually is like another level of support and another level of loyalty, that if you can connect a prospect with somebody that they need value from, then you've got the leg up on getting the listing or the buyer. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And it's really cute because now my house cleaners, they're looking to buy a house, and because they've heard me talk and they've heard me on conversations when they've been here. And they're like, I think we want to buy a house. Can you help us? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'd be honored. And I love first-time home buyers because, like, let's be honest, that's like the coolest thing to help people achieve that dream. Because a lot of people, they can't do it. So
the guy that's doing some HVAC work at my rental condo heard me talking to the flooring guy when I was over there the other day, and he's like, hey, you do real estate? Boom. It's crazy.
Because remember, real estate's 2 things: relationships and numbers. The more relationships you have, the more transactions you're going to have. And it's simple.
All
and
right.
It's relationships.
Class dismissed.
Everybody. Class dismissed. Really. Boom. Mic drop. Gave you everything you need. Okay. What other questions?
Okay. So what we agreed to do here for all those that came in right at or just after 12 o'clock is Susan has a little bit of extra time today, and this backs up to the launch mastermind, and so she's got plenty of content to teach us about command and about texting through command, and I want to leave ample time for that, but I also wanted to let everyone get an opportunity to meet Susan and to kind of hear her story, and to hear a little bit more about, kind of her vision for her business and why she got into the business and all these kind of things. So I'm going to ask you one or two more questions, and then maybe we can open it up to everyone, and then we'll see, maybe in about 5 to 10 minutes or so, we'll jump right into the command stuff. Is that cool with everyone?
Okay.
All right, Susan, let me just take stock of who's on our call here. It looks like we have primarily agents that are in the launch phase of their business. We do have a couple of agents with a bit more experience. But I would love for you just to, from your perspective, when it's not coming from the coach, when it's not coming from the team leader or any of that kind of thing, as a successful agent, what advice do you have for the crew today?
Just keep doing it. Don't let people get you down. You're going to have days where you're thinking, why am I doing this? Like, people are so mean, people aren't kind. And then you're going to have days where people are like so grateful that you connected them with someone, you helped them with something, you told them that you can buy a real estate property. Like, you can own a house, especially right now with the rates being so inexpensive. It's ridiculous. People appreciate that, and keep that in mind, and keep a mental tally of your wins, and kind of remind yourself of them every day, because you're going to have days. Trust me, I had many days about 2 weeks ago. I think I have a little ulcer, and I've named her after my client, let's just say. I had a horrible transaction. The agent on the other side, who was also the seller, did nothing she was supposed to do. No radon, no mold remediation, no pest. So like literally the day of closing, I'm setting all this up. My clients would not close. So instead, for a week and a half after, I had to deal with the, 2 dumpsters plus worth of trash outside of the house that the seller left. And it was awful. My clients were unreasonable. The agent / seller was beyond unreasonable. You're going to have that time, and you're going to be like, why am I doing this? My God, like, who would want this abuse? But then you're going to have sweet clients who are first-time home buyers who, you actually made them realize last night that they can actually afford like $300,000, and help them find their dream house, and make them realize that, like, wow, I'm only paying $150 more than I am in rent, and I get all this space to myself. So there's a lot of great perks to it. And remember those, because you're going to have those days that are grueling or boring or uncomfortable, because you have to have those candor conversations. I had one yesterday with an agent who didn't like that they weren't the winning offer. And I said, listen, your offer was a lot low. Well, but blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, dollars, that's what we're in the business of. Well, our terms were good. I'm like, your terms weren't good, and I had to have that conversation with them. And it was interesting. My husband, when I got off the phone, because he could hear him through my earbuds, which was bad. He was like, wow, he wasn't too happy with you. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. And it's interesting, because as time goes on, it becomes easier to have those conversations, because once you realize they aren't personally about you, it's about the transaction. Your job is to be the conduit between your buyer or seller and the other side of the deal. It's not anything personal ever. You just have to remember that. And that's hard for me, because I take everything personal, because, those of you that knew me before we couldn't hug anymore, like, I was all about hugging everyone, and I want everyone to love me. I'm a crowd pleaser. I'm a high I, for crying out loud. I'm also the baby of the family, and I needed that extra love, I think.
Right.
So
we used to say, like, when you come in, you're going to talk to me, and if you need a tissue or you need to cry, you go see Susan.
Exactly. That was like, he was the candor, I was the fluff, the warm fuzzies, not
right.
fluff. So anyway, so just remember that, but just keep plugging along, and think about the ways that you can help out. So for example, call agents. You can pull up on FMLS who has listings in the office. Call those agents and say, hey, I'd like to host your open house for you. And Heather, I'll get back to you. I can't remember the name of the company. I'll have to pull it up. It's because you asked that I can't remember. Those are really cute signs, though, aren't they? They're adorable.
Adorable.
Yeah, they have all sorts of things like that, too. Signs like that. They have cute business card holders, and it's all that kind of cutesy, cottagey look. Anyway, but like talk to people about holding open houses for them. I know the curtain team was looking for, in fact, I gave a few of your names because I was like off the top of my head trying to think who was in PC. I gave a few of your name to them for showing agents, because sometimes they'll need backup showing agents. Reach out to people like that. Again, it's not only relationships with your outside sphere and the people you know, but it's also the relationships with your agents inside the office. Because let's say, for example, I was going to be gone. Theoretically, I was supposed to be gone today for about 3 weeks. I was going to need someone to help me cover my business. And if any new business came in, I was probably just going to have whoever work with that client, and then we just do a 50-50 split because it was my client, and we kind of worked together. I would still help and mentor, sort of thing, but my trip kind of got postponed for a little bit. But have those relationships with the other agents in the office. Also, not only for generating business and getting that experience, because let's be honest, it's better to practice on someone else's clients than your own, right? Like, I know that sounds weird or probably crazy, but you can practice on someone else. And if like I used to practice different ways, I would say something. And, until I kind of felt like, oh, that felt like me and that felt comfortable. Because again, it's all about the scripting. And for me, it was like some scripts sound like Donald Duck's voice is coming out of my mouth. And so you always have to tweak those scripts to make them feel like you're actually saying them and it sounds like you're saying them. So practicing, yes, Pam, that is it. All things real estate. Thank you. Sorry, I saw her little note. So anyway, so practice that, but reach out to other agents in the office and let them know, because they might have opportunities for you. I know I've had that opportunity to help out with people in the past. So definitely take advantage of that.
All right, one last question and we'll open the floor up. For agents that are new to Keller Williams and that are, I got one other question actually after that. For people that are new to the organization and they're kind of getting bombarded with all the different stuff that we have and that we offer and that's available, and they're trying to grow their business and they know they need to make the phone calls and build the database, and they know they need to learn command and all this other stuff. In your opinion, I haven't set you up for this and I'm not sure what you're going to say. That's why I'm asking. What advice do you have for like handling all this chaos?
Oh gosh, it's a lot of chaos. And it's really hard. I know when I first started, I was really overwhelmed about database because I felt like from the get-go, I missed the first 2 classes of Ignite and then, did them after. And I always felt behind on my database and touching my database. And I have to be honest, I'm still not super great at it, except for smart plans. Now I'm better because it makes it look like I'm better. And it also, for example, I did, and I'll show you how I did this. I did a smart plan text to everyone for 4th of July. And I just said, hey, it's Susan, Corley, just hoping you're having a great 4th of July with friends and family, socially distancing, of course. What's on the grill today? And I got this from Nick Baldwin, like literally word by word. And I sent that out, or I set it up a week prior. And it all went out. And then all of a sudden, boom, 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 like machine gun fire, I got responses from people all day on 4th of July. I still have some I haven't responded to because I think I probably got over 80.
Wow.
Unfortunately, it's a little clunky in command because you see it kind of on the bell and there's not a good way to search because you can't search by most recent because I sent a text out to everybody on the 4th of July. So everyone's still popping up for the most part. If they responded back on the same day, it's just like that. Some of them responded late, but I got some great response with that. So I'm gonna show you guys how to do that.
Okay, one last question. Yeah. You came into kind of my periphery, if you will, without a whole lot of kind of knowledge about profit share and without a whole lot of interest in profit share. And it was a significant part of your role as being assistant team leader. But tell us just really quickly, what's the deal with profit share? Why should people even care about it?
Profit share is a great way to earn a little extra income, frankly. And here's the thing. If you love where you're working and you love what you're doing, it's not really like you're selling anyone on anything. you're just making sure that they're like, hey, if they're thinking about a career change, or they've always been kind of like, gosh, I've always thought about getting into real estate, like bring them on in, have them jump on one of these Zoom calls or any of the training calls. Profit share for me, and this is stupid, and Bill will probably be like, oh my God, I can't believe you're saying this. But like the money part for me is not the big draw. It really isn't. For me, it's just getting people into Keller Williams. The money part's the bonus. I ended up having about $10,000 in profit share last year, not in my family budget. I can't tell you, every single month, something had broken down and boom, it was the 21st and profit share showed up. So my husband's convertible has a new top. My washing machine that died literally the day before profit share got a new washing machine thanks to profit share. Had a little vacation time in there. It kind of went into our investment account because we want to be investing in real estate. And I'm closing on my first investment property, well, theoretically in the next week or so. But
nice, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Interesting thing on that. The lender kind of forgot to do an appraisal, even though they told me I was clear to close. And I'm like, am I going to get a copy of that appraisal? And they're like, oh, how did that get missed? And it's an investment property, so it's a different type of appraisal that they do. But still, it was pretty funny.
Good for you.
So we're closing. Thank you. Yeah, but it's pretty exciting to be able to do that. And I'm, part of it, we're doing it to keep our foot back in California. Not that I'm moving anytime soon. So when you see posts about a California house, it's just a rental property. We bought my in-laws house. It's not because I'm leaving. But someday we want to go back to California, and I've got to keep my foot back in that market, or I'll maybe never be able to afford to go back home. So, my next one after that is to find something locally here. So, profit share is great for the good it can do. But for me, really, it was more about just having people end up falling in love with what I've fallen in love with in regard to real estate. Does that make sense?
That's a really great way to put it. That's a big part of it for me as well.
Yeah.
I do plan on the income, and that's certainly a part of my motivation. But my life, and I'm sure yours too, has been greatly affected by being a part of KW.
Oh yeah.
From leadership to opportunity to growth to investments, you name it. So we have an opportunity to share that with others. It's a win-win all around.
Yeah, it is definitely.
Anyone have any more questions for Susan before she shares her screen and teaches us all about command?
And I've got a couple really cool things because my coach is part of the KWRI tech team. And so I've got a couple things that are like coming out that I can share with you a little bit.
Ooh. Cool.
Some of them I can't because I don't have access yet, but I'll show you the ones that I can if I can remember the path to get to them. So there'll be a little user error. I apologize ahead of time.
Normally I would say, what's the deal with coaching? But all of these people have invested in coaching, so we don't have to go there.
We don't have to have that conversation, do we?
Susan has a MAPS coach where she meets half an hour each week and pays the big bucks to be a part of that. And I believe it. You agree that coaching is making a difference for you.
It is definitely. And awesome. I have a group. We actually don't meet just once a week now. We actually meet 3 times a week because we do 2 group coaching calls. So one of them, our Thursday call is usually pretty little tech focused because it's only a half hour. So usually the first half is like what's new in command, what bugs they fixed, that sort of thing, what's coming up, what's rolled out. And then usually on Tuesdays, it's more masterminding. So,
cool. I gotta poke Tim and see if I can get some logins.
Yeah, nice try. Anyway, okay. So what
I'm
going to show
Susan,
you,
the floor is yours.
I'm going to show you guys how to do smart plan texting. So here's the cool thing about it. You can spend a couple hours and set up your whole year for texting. How awesome would that be?
So before you go into, let's start from like the super basic level. Like how do we connect Twilio and get a new number and all that? Can you cover that as well?
Maybe. I have to be honest, my assistant set my Twilio up. But yeah, I can show you how to do it. I'm gonna go on a share screen. Host disabled screen sharing. Can you enable screen sharing, sir?
Oh yeah, sorry. Nothing personal. Let me fix that. You should be good now.
Okay. where are we going to go? Where's my Chrome? Okay, we're going to go in here to Chrome, share. Okay, so let me move you guys up top. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to go to the main page on KW, maybe. I'm sure there's a hamster rolling up there somewhere. I'm going to contacts, see if that works. I love when you're doing this and it doesn't work. Isn't that the best? There we go. Okay, so we're going to go into Smart Plans. Okay, so first of all, to connect anything that you need to, so how to use Smart Plans is, let's go over into our marketplace setting, marketplace here. Marketplace is right underneath your name, and that's where you connect everything. If you haven't done that yet, that's where you're going to connect your logins with your Facebook, with Instagram, all those different things. So why is it making me log in again? Okay, I'll log in. Okay, it's got me in here. Okay, so it's got my apps. So we're going to go over into that. There are all sorts of other apps though that you can use. And so there may be some that you use. Whoopsie, no, that's not what I want. Let's go to my account. There may be some that you're using that you didn't realize you can connect up to command, FYI. I'm not a crazy techie person, so you don't have to worry about that. So we've got my recent events. We should have my applications, and I'm going to put that here. And this is all changed even in a week. Snap. Let's see, company settings. This all looks different now. I wasn't expecting to go this part, Bill, sorry. Okay, we're gonna skip this part just because I don't want to get caught in this weed. But there's a way you can go in to, let's see, maybe that's it. Because I've got login. Oh, here we go. Command. Yeah. They changed how all of this looks. So these are the various things that I have logged in. I have my command email, which is pretty cool. And that's actually not, well, it's starting at $9.99 a month, but you get up to 5,000 emails that you can send out before you start getting charged. And then it's really, really kind of minimal per 100 emails that go out. Just know that. Porch repair, if you haven't signed up.
It's free until you hit that number, or it's $9.99 until you hit that number?
And I think it's 5,000 a month, I believe, is what it is. And I'd have to double check on that, but I believe that's what it is.
Yes, it's 5,000 a month free.
Thank you, Pam. So, and if you have a huge database and you send out a biweekly email on market updates, then you may end up, having to pay a little bit. But for now, for the most part, most of us shouldn't. I have about 800 people in my database, so I'd have to really be email crazy to get through and have to start paying, which is pretty cool. The other things, I think part of it is, hold on here, built by KW. Again, this whole thing has switched its looks. Nope. Command Essentials. Now, where's social media is what I'm looking for. You want to make sure that your Facebook account set up. Twilio's in there. You're going to get your Twilio number that you get is going to be an Austin, Texas number. So I'll show you how in my text I ended up, kind of prefacing, hi, it's Susan Corley. I had a bunch of friends that called me thinking that someone had hacked me and were pretending to be me. But it was still a great conversation because they still reached out and we still ended up having interaction, which was great. Okay, so I'm going to go, if it's okay with you, Bill, I'm going to go straight to the Smart Plan text. So we're up here in Smart Plans. I have a couple different Smart Plans set up, not a ton yet, something I'm working on. Smart Plans for me was a little challenging to kind of wrap my head around for a bit. And again, it's kind of because I'm not super techie. And so sometimes I have to look at it from a very non-techie view. So I have a bunch of different ones, but probably my favorite ones that I have, and I literally are indeed these, ripped off and duplicated them verbatim to the line, to the punctuation, from Nick Baldwin, who is on Command Your Conversion. So if you, and he's also on Command, or KW Command on the Facebook page. Look at his stuff. He comes up and shares his plans all the time, and that's what we're all about. Eventually, other people's, pretty soon, see here where it says published, pretty soon you're going to be able to actually look at anyone across the country, or across the world, I suppose, but I know international is not in Command yet. You're going to be able to look at their smart plans and duplicate them, which is pretty cool. And it's going to track them to see which ones people are using most often. So you don't have to worry if you have a fear like I do of creating the marketing material and the content. Don't worry, someone else has done it, and you really just have to plug in the parts that are you specific, which is pretty cool. So anyway, so what I did is I created a 4th of July text plan. Let's see what it says. And here we go. Let's edit. We'll take a look at it. And it was really easy. And again, you can think about this and plan on everything for the whole year. You could do Easter, Happy Popsicle Day, Happy Red Sneaker Day. You can come up with silly ones if you have people that you know. Happy Wine Day, I would send to my wine club people. Happy bourbon drinking day I can set up. Happy Labor Day, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, all the regular holidays, but you can also come up with some fun ones. If the school schedule, for example, wasn't so crazy and unknown as to when kids are they going back to school, or aren't they going back to school? What day is it going to be? You could send out a text that says, happy first day back to school, moms. Congratulations, you survived the summer. Because I used to do, for example, in my neighborhood, I used to do a brunch as soon as all the kids got off the bus or onto the bus. The moms would come on over and we'd have snacks and mimosas to celebrate that we survived the whole summer and didn't kill our children. So you can do it for whatever you want, but it's really easy to do. So all I did, I have a Twilio account connected. And sorry, I can't show you that. Maybe I can later. And I just did a static, and I can't remember what the difference is, but I just kind of did a simple one. And basically, I literally cut and paste this from Nick's plan. Hey, and then you put the contact first name, kind of parentheses in. It's Susan Corley. Happy 4th of July. I hope that you're spending it with family. Anything good on the grill today? And boom. And I tagged it to go out to everyone in my database, which was awesome. So pretty simple to do, right? I did it a week or so in advance. I remember on Father's Day, for example, I meant to send texts out to everyone I know for Father's Day in my database, and I didn't know how to do this, and that would have not stressed me out so much on Father's Day, because I got probably 40 text messages out to the dads in my world, but I didn't nearly get to what I want to. So here's the cool thing. So I'm going to show you up here in the little bell button, whatever. This is my friend Bob Waddell, who's now, I just found out, moved to Colorado. He used to live up in Ohio and work with my husband. So I got some more information like, oh, where are you? He showed me that his wife Candace, 2 dogs, and the daughter lived nearby too. It's like, oh, that's great. What I have been noticing in Command, and they're aware of it, is the texts are showing up multiple times. So you just have to deal with that. I'll look at some other ones. I got a ton of them. Oh, some of them I got. So this one from Dree Selby, this was from a Facebook campaign that I did on my listing at Bluffhaven, actually, Heather, that you did the open house for last weekend. And he came in from that. I set him up on a smart plan like a month ago, or within the last month. And then I also sent him out a happy 4th of July. And then through our conversation, he finally started telling me what he truly was looking for. So I have 2 people that have done that. So they are now becoming potential clients because we've had interaction, because they were like, oh, she's asking what I'm grilling. That's kind of cool. You want to ask something that they're going to reply to. What kind of pie are you having today? Could have been the question I asked, whatever it could be. But I got a ton. I got 260 notifications. Those aren't all from that, but I would say half of those are. So I would say I got over 100 responses from my one little text that went out to my whole database. And they were all great conversations. I got a couple of updated addresses from people that had moved and I was unaware. And they don't live in this area, but that's okay. you know, I still want to help them in any way I can, wherever they are. I may know someone where they are, so I can connect them up to new friends, possibly. Things with kids, stuff like that. So it's pretty cool to do. Anyone have any questions on that? And again, you can set this up then for any holiday you want. And there's some really fun, quirky holidays out there. There's like National Barbie Day. You know, send it out to any of your girlfriends you grew up with and said, hey, remember when we used to play Barbies? And, you know, whatever. You know, there's so many great little things. So here's the other one I have set up too on Facebook. And again, I didn't come up with this. I verbatim stole this from my friend Nick Baldwin, because at Keller Williams, we're all about R&D, rip off and duplicate. So this is my smart plan for my Facebook leads. And I'll kind of go in and show you some of my Facebook campaigns that I've done. I did one for that same property and I got 14 leads in a week. And actually they're all decent ones too. They're actually humans whose phone number it actually belongs to, or email it belongs to, which is great. But again, all I did was verbatim take this from Nick. He's got blueprints on the command your
Conversion.
Command your conversion. Sorry.
So let me throw out a few things. Number one is he has a Facebook group called Command Your Conversion. Thousands of KW agents in there. He's also got a class.
Text me or put it in the chat, and I can invite you in, because someone who's in it can invite you to be in it. So
yeah. The other thing is he has a course, I believe, that's called Command Your Conversion 2 or Command 101. I've posted a link for that in the past in the group. That's a free course. And it just walks you through day by day or session by session, different tools and techniques you can do within Command. Yeah.
And he also then just yesterday came out with a Command Your Consumer app. That was, I think it's $20 to sign up for it. And it's, I have my assistant doing it today. I said, go look at those. I'll look at it as well. I signed up. She can look at it too, though. And it's just basically how to utilize the KW Command app and to utilize it to work your clients with it. They just added, and I'll show you, they just added the affordability calculator this week on the app, which is pretty cool. And I'll show you where that is.
Also, there is, so Nick is, he's got a mega team in Massachusetts, and he's got another mega team in Michigan, or New Jersey, and then another mega team in Michigan. He's a former team leader. He's now the regional tech trainer for the Michigan and Northern Ohio region. So this is just I don't want to call him a regular old guy, but he's just one guy that came up with all these ideas. And he's just making a huge contribution to the Command community. He's also with a co-founder of Lab Coat Agents, which has nearly 100,000 people, Facebook people in that Facebook group called Lab Coat Agents.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And here's the cool thing. So here's a total showing you how opportunities at Keller Williams can happen too. So Nick was an agent. He then became a team leader. And then Command happened and he got really excited about it. Like he is up all the time doing Command. He loves it. He loves playing with it. He was in a lot of the labs. Now, because he's had such great input and been so involved in it, he's now a regional tech director as a paid position with Keller Williams International. So that's pretty cool when you think about that. You know, I don't think that was on his roadmap for what his future was. It was just opportunities that happened because of relationships he had within the company even too. So it's pretty cool to have.
And also his expansion team and his affiliation with Lab Coat Agents, and now having kind of the audience to be able to put out a paid for program, you know, $20 if he gets, what happens if he gets 10,000 people that want to do it? That's 200 grand overnight.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That part, I was doing that math earlier too. I was thinking like, oh my God, that's mind blowing. That's like crazy.
So
and
the takeaway there is
to the moon. I really do. Because he's a great guy too.
The takeaway here is how can we always be thinking about our audience, right? Which is another way of saying your database, right? Who are the people that you have I don't want to say influence over, but influence with?
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Okay, so the other thing I'm going to show you, how many of you guys are like a little frustrated that you can't create labels out of command? Like you've got your database in there and you want to do a big mailing maybe out to them. Is there anyone out there that like has thought about that and you're like, oh my gosh, how do I do that? I'm gonna have to download them to an Excel spreadsheet,
Me,
blah, blah, blah.
Susan, will you please show us?
Guess what? You don't have to do that anymore. You get to do labels through Connect. And God, hopefully I will get you all there the right way. Okay, you go in through contacts. And my computer's being really slow, probably because I'm on screen share. Come on, I guess my contacts have to. Let's say we're gonna click on my 50 people on this page. I'm gonna click on the 3 dots, export mailing labels, or export it as a PDF because you might want to make your labels on the copier at the office or copier at home. But how cool is that? Like literally a button click. I go like this. I don't know how long it takes to do it. I have to be honest, I haven't done it. Oh, that's so funny. Kelly just sent me a message saying my labels export is complete. Tap to download. Well, thank you, Kelly. How sweet is that? That's pretty awesome. As I said, I hadn't done one yet, so I hadn't needed to. That's pretty awesome. And my labels are complete. So now I get to import them. Nope. Up here I get to do it. Ah, where'd it go? User error, I knew this would happen. Okay, let's just do it this way because I did it the other way. Doing process, please refresh page. I know it pops up somewhere. Anyway, you can do labels now, which is pretty cool. This might take a minute for that to happen. Anyway, so that's kind of cool to be able to do. So what you can do is, for example, you can do labels up. I have different groups. For example, let's say I wanted to do, I have a bourbon group. No, bourbon, that's right. B-O-U-R-B-O-U-R-B-O-N. So there we go. I've got all my bourbon people. So let's say I want to send a mailer out because we're going to do a bourbon night at my house and I want to make it fancy and send out actual printed labels or printed invitations. So I could go ahead and do that, upload it, print them up. Super easy. So I love that that's there. Another thing that's going to be showing, and I'm pretty sure I don't have it yet, but let's take a look because I've said that before and, oh, it is up. Okay, cool. So how many of you noticed, how many of you guys have done paid campaigns or a paid ad yet? Have any of you? Okay, Liz has.
Yeah, I have. Not through command, but I've done them before.
Okay, so through command, it's really easy. For example, I have one here that I did, it just completed recently. I had a $50 spend total and I ended up getting 14 leads from that one too. And I had a lot of impressions. I was kind of surprised that I had that many impressions and only 14 leads that came through, but that's okay. But here's the cool thing. So how many of you have been like, well, wait a second. It said that I only spent $34.65, but I said I would do $50. And what happens is they're going to debit your card for the full 50, KWRI will. But now you're going to be able to see your payments. And it's not all showing, but it's showing your total spend that you've done for the year. So that's going to be cool for, I don't know, how much did I spend on marketing this year? And as much as we try to be, you know, it's like, I know I clicked $50 a couple times with these properties, but sometimes it was $35. Sometimes it was $23 because I didn't get anyone to do it. Or sometimes I spent the whole $50. It is actually keeping track for me. So at the end of the year for taxes, I can specifically say, oh, look, I've spent X amount. So like here I've spent And that's so funny because somebody asked me the other day, I said, I don't know, I think I've done about $500 so far this year. Some of them are on career day because I do a career day ad every month to get new agents into the office. But it kind of shows you all that. But what it's going to eventually show, and it doesn't yet, but it's going to show your credits that you have with KWRI so that you have an idea of like, okay, I do have that little bit of credit, and it'll start showing that you can utilize that credit to pay for that ad. And that should be coming online in the next 2 weeks, I believe. But that was something that was kind of exciting, I thought, which is pretty cool. I don't have my cable to do. How many of you guys, do you all have your the KW app on your phone? Not Kelly, but the KW consumer app.
Yep.
You guys have that? Okay, can you, if you guys can go to that and hold on here, if I move my boxes, I can. So here's the command your conversion. Are you seeing that? I want to make sure it showed. All sorts of great things here, but this is, when you scroll through command your conversion real quickly, a side note, it'll give you some suggested units to do. And these are basically some of the videos that Nick has done to show you how to use command. So this is get started with a neighborhood smart video demo, create a neighborhood landing page. So I love that they do it in small little snippets because I've never been diagnosed, but I suspect I'm a little ADHD squirrel. I tend to get distracted very easily. And so for me, I know that a 5 to 8 minute video on how to do something is much more effective than looking through an hour and a half of video trying to find what I'm looking for. So that's in there, but hold on here real quickly. I had scrolled past it here. Here we go. So this is Nick's, the affordability calculator. Do you guys mind if I play it? Because he's going to tell you better than I am.
Oh, great.
Go ahead.
No, I don't want to share it. Wrong button. Nope. Watch again.
Going on, it's Nick here, and I want to show you guys something super cool that was just released on the mobile app in case you're unaware. The affordability calculator. Okay, so when you sign into your app or when your consumer signs into your app, you go to that little more button on the bottom right hand corner.
Right there.
You're going to see tools, Keller covered, Keller mortgage, affordability calculator. So let's see. This is a great tool for your clients to kind of input all of their information and get a really good idea of what they can afford. So let's do annual household income. Let's just say $150,000. And let's say, monthly debt, is around, $2,000 with, maybe their rent or their current mortgage, any renter's insurance, any car payments, bills, so on and so forth. And let's say they have a credit score, that's around 690 to 719, but this slides all the way up and down. Can kind of go back and forth. So let's say they have a pretty good credit score. Let's say it's excellent. Okay, they're gonna put 15,000 down, and they can choose their loan type. 30-year fixed, 20, 15, 10. So let's do 30. Let's say they have an interest rate, of 3.5, and let's say their property tax percentage, would be around, 2%, and HOA fees, if they're going to look in a development, let's say that's $200 a month, and then homeowners insurance, let's say that's like $1,000 a year or something, right? So then it shows them recommended price. They can slide this up and down on the affordability scale. So anything that's in the green says it's affordable. And then obviously once you go to stretch, then you get really aggressive. But it looks like someone with that type of criteria, you could probably afford around $400,000. Then you can click view breakdown and you can see, everything right here in front of you in a more organized fashion. And then of course, if you want, you just click start pre-approval and it brings you right to the Keller mortgage process. So pretty sweet. I think this is a great tool for your consumer, just to kind of get a better idea of what what they're looking at, what they can afford, what they should be looking at. Obviously, it doesn't take away from a pre-approval, but it's a great starting point, so they have some sort of an idea, and then it helps them better with their collections and their ability to search for the right types of homes on the website. So if you didn't know it was there, it's now here. Like I said, it is in the More tab under Tools, and it says Affordability Calculator. Make sure you tell all your clients it's there. It's a really great feature. So I hope you got some value from this and explained how to use it. We'll see you soon, guys. Have a great Friday.
So how awesome is that? I love that as a new tool to share with people. And there's gonna, for any of you guys who are fairly good at kind of marketing stuff and using maybe Loom or something like that, you can do a quick screen video of that to show your clients and send that out. Post it on your Facebook page so that people are all excited, and then have the link to your app down below there. So I thought that was a really great tool.
I'm going to put you on the spot, Susan.
Yeah.
What do you think a good script? How can we use that affordability tool for lead gen purposes?
You know, I think for anyone, especially with first-time home buyers, there are a lot of people that think they can't buy a house and they're paying $1,800 a month in rent. And $1,800 a month in rent, I can tell you right now, is the equivalent of buying about a $300,000 house with putting 3% down. So that's, you know, a good size house. That's an average house in Roswell. So I think you can just say, no, I want to show you how you actually can afford more than you think you can. You're already paying X. You know, this calculator is going to show you what you can afford based on what the, you know, lenders look at for measurements or something like that. Does that help with the script? Or I think it's just a great one to put out there, like, hey, you don't own a home, or you're looking to upsize. Let's see what you can afford today. Check out my new affordability calculator. I love the last part of it too, that shows you what your potential monthly payment's going to be, because I think that's really important.
You could also highlight the fact that, hey, you know, 3 months ago rates were 4, now they're 3.25. Gosh, look how much more you can afford now, or maybe now you can afford.
Yeah, exactly. You, like, the rates being where they are has allowed more people to be able to buy homes than ever before. It's pretty amazing. I mean, I just got a 3.5% loan on an investment property, which is usually 1.5 to 2 points higher than normal rates. It's crazy. As my mom used to say, they're giving it away. So use that to take advantage of that. I think it's kind of a fun thing to do. This is that Command Your Conversion page if you're not on it. Again, if you put your name in the chat section, I'll make sure that I get you added in. There's all sorts of great stuff though. This is that class that we were just talking about. If you've taken Command 101, you'll love this mini course. It's the one that's $20, but 10 lectures with 100 minutes. So they're 10 minutes each, like waiting in the car, like you're doing, Liz, you know, in between appointments, tired of hearing whoever you're talking to drone on a Zoom call. You can watch that instead. Just kidding. Whatever the case may be. Great to do it. They also have the Command 101 though too, and I recommend doing that as well. And for those of you who don't,
can you show us the Command 101?
I haven't done the Command 101. No, I haven't.
Okay. I'll show it to you guys.
Yeah. It's, I know it's great. I've seen some of the videos from it. I just haven't gone and actually gone through and done each step from, you know, 1 to 10 kind of thing. So yeah. And then if you ever want to find something on this page, just go over into the search group area over here on the left. And like I typed in earlier, smart plans, because I was looking for something to remind me on how to do the smart plan. And, you know, you just do that and it pulls up anyone who's talked about smart plans. Unfortunately, it's never in chronological order because that would be way too easy. But it also has people who, let's see here. There's some here. There's some here on how to get, how to do it. You know, here's from Lab Coat Agents, the facelift the Smart Plans is getting that they put out last week. So to kind of show you how to do stuff and how to do the text things, stuff like that. So it's a great resource for you here. The rule on Command Your Conversion is you can't gripe, you can't bitch, you can't moan. You got to be part of the solution, or asking questions is great. But if you're like having a hard day on commands and you don't like it, don't go on here and say, command sucks, I hate it, it's awful, because they'll boot you out of the group in a heartbeat. So just know that. That's the rule on that page. Okay, that's all I had for you. Are y'all tired of hearing from me? Hopefully by
You
now.
had some questions. You finished a lot faster than I was expecting. I'm still shoving some food in my face.
Oh, sorry.
Who else has some questions for Susan, or while she's got command open, do you want her to explain anything else?
Have you done any of the smart plans where it does a text and an email and a this and a that? Does it just send you notifications that you have to do it, or do you set up automatic emails?
No, it's smart. It does it for you. That's the best part of it. So in my smart plans here, let's go back here. So my Facebook ad one, as I said, I literally did exactly what Nick told me to do. And that's where I've been getting engagement from some of my Facebook people too. So whoops, let's go back over to edit here. So it's set up already. So it says, so it's already got me in there. Do static. Hi, you put the blank so it feeds it in. Thanks for looking at homes. This is, and it puts my name in too, and then it also pulls their email. So it makes it look really personalized. So that's the first message. Then I set a delay by a day. Then on day 3, an email goes out to them. I texted you yesterday about the homes you looked at on Facebook, blah, 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 blah. Okay, day 4, delay. Day 5, send another text. Hey again, I realize it may be difficult to see a home in person. That sort of thing. Again, a delay. You don't do it every day. It's usually like every other day. This one is a 2 days delay. Then again, I send another text. I'm not being a pest. I want to make sure you're being taken care of. Want to know what you're looking for, so I don't send you anything you don't like. Another delay. I did not hear back, so I thought I'd send some similar homes in the area you initially clicked on, and do that.
So you tag them as like a new client or a new lead or something, and this is what you set up to send to them, or?
So this is what I do. Let me go into campaigns. And I probably have 1 or 2 in here that I haven't done, so I can actually do it live. Okay, I'm going into my paid ads. Okay, I'm gonna click on my 14 leads I got. Let's hopefully they're populating. They weren't last week. So come on, command, be good. Loading. Yay, they're here. I showed this to someone last week and they wouldn't pop up because there was some disconnect. Okay, so I'm gonna go into Chris Hillard. He came in the other day. So he's already on the plan. So all I did is see up here where it says smart plans.
Yeah.
Once you set your smart plan up in the main smart plans, I click on that.
You can't just ask me.
And I have him on, but I can add him to smart plan. So had he contacted me before 4th of July, I would have put him on the 4th of July one. Red Day was one I was trying to use for the office, but we couldn't. The office command that we have, the command MC is really what it's called. That's not working for it yet. So I had set one up, but hey, I've got it ready for next year. So they have all these different plans. Home anniversary. I've got everyone who's bought a home with me on an anniversary plan. So I send them out a message. Monthly neighborhood. I've got that. Yeah, open house follow. So what you do is you set up the plan, and then all you do is connect your contact to the plan. I mean,
can you show me one more time where you create the plan?
So the plans you'll go into smart plans. Come on. Sorry, let me try escape.
And also, as you're doing this with the Facebook plan, it said, I noticed you didn't do this or you didn't do that. If they do it, does it stop, or do they not get that message? How does that?
Oh, that's a good question.
Can you just remove them from it?
I think once you start interacting with them, comes off, but you know what? That is a good question. Why is this not working? Okay, what's further down here that's not showing? No. Okay, great. I'm just going to say already supplies. There's probably a cancel down here. I could do, let's see here. I'm going to add him to a birthday one. Maybe that'll get me out of here. Confirm. Oh, see, can't do that one because I don't have his birthday, which I know. Oh, technology, don't do this. You can do an open house follow-up one, for example. I pulled that one from Nick too. That's another one, but I've been doing, then you can also do, the other thing you can do, if I go out, we're gonna do this, and it's probably gonna, I'm gonna log out and log back in. So bear with me here as I get back to command. Is it showing my blank screen for you all, or did it stop screen sharing?
Stop screen sharing.
Okay. Share screen. Command. And you all know too, on command, you need to run it in Chrome, because that's really important. If you don't know that, that's super important. It doesn't run well in anything else. It'll always mess up. Okay, so question was again was, you wanted me to set up somebody? Or you want to set up?
No, how do you create a plan?
Okay, so you just go into the smart plans, click on the smart plan button, and create.
Okay.
And again, so like for me, my biggest hang up was like, okay, what am I supposed to create? Like I didn't know, like, do I do it by email? Do I do text? What's the combination? That's why I'm R&Ding, rip-offing, and duplicating from Nick and other people that have put great plans out there. Again, so there's Smart Plans library here too. Let's see what comes up. There we go, promote my app. These are other people's smart plans. So don't reinvent the wheel. Find one that you want and do it. Quarterly call plan, promote my app. That's a great one. Everyone can do that one. You can send that out. It says view steps. Let's see what the steps are. The steps are send an email, delay, send an automated manual text. Hey, it's me. Did you see that neighbor listed a home in your area? Download my brand new app to check it out. Delay again. Did you know that you can see all the cumulative stats about your neighborhood in my new app? Let me know. So it gives you the script. You don't even have to make it up. You literally can cut and paste and plop it in there.
Okay.
And I love simple. I love when it's Susan proof. Let's be honest, because technology, I'm good enough to be dangerous. I used to be better, but you know, I haven't had to be super techno for a long time. So I lost my edge, I think. Monthly neighborhood, that's easy to set up. You know how you set those up for your clients or for your people? So you go back into contacts. And we're gonna use my favorite example. Oh, except he might be set up already. Let's double check, I can't remember. The Bob, AKA my husband. I'm pretty sure I have him on. You all should have everyone in your database on a neighborhood search. Yeah, I have him on one already. If you haven't done that, that's the bare minimum you should try to do. Make that a weekend plan. Put a good Hallmark movie on, or a thriller, or a wah, wah, with a knife, whatever movie makes you happy, and go through your database and try to get through 50 or 10, whatever the number is, and make sure you add them to a neighborhood. And how you do this is, so if, am I saying this, like, does everyone know how to do this, or is anyone who doesn't know how to do it?
So Susan, one idea that I've seen agents do, I don't know if you're prepared today to do this for us, but you can add neighborhoods all over the place, right? So for example, you can show Bob the neighborhood that your investment property is in, or your soon to be investment property.
Let's add. There we go. California. Find my map. so I gotta make my map really, really small. I'm gonna go to the other side of the country. So this is a cool thing too. So your friends that live in Chicago, Utah, Timbuktu, you can set them up on neighborhood plans as well. And here's the thing, what they're gonna do is they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, Susan, thanks for my neighborhood plan, but you don't sell in California. Who can I talk to? Well, that's funny you ask, because I've got my great agent friend, Mike, who's there, and he'll be able to help you. Well, but I wanna make sure you're included. I said, don't worry, Mike and I have a great relationship. You don't worry anything about it. Okay, so bear with me here. There we go, beautiful little Windsor in the heart of wine country. He hates being Mickey the Pig.
I believe now when you put an address in, it automatically assigns the neighborhood that it happens to be in. But some of the neighborhoods from next door are like as small as like that one street. So you have to go in and you might decide to add a couple of the surrounding neighborhoods, and then you would have to go in and set up or, you know, hit a button to put them on the actual neighborhood nurture campaign.
So they don't have our neighborhood in there, I don't think. Let me look. There's a route at, well, is Brooks Creek in here? They've got Lazy Creek. Why don't they have Brooks Creek? Oh, there we go. That's the one I want. I want to undo that one. I want to undo that one. Or delete that one.
X is on the bottom.
Okay, we'll do it all. And now I've saved it. We're in
Susan,
Brooks Creek.
the X
What's
is
that?
at the bottom.
Yeah, you probably need to do it down at the bottom where
Oh,
it
yeah,
has
you're right.
listed.
Thank you. I can take that off. See, you guys are so observant. I'll take off Lazy Creek and I'm just going to do Brooks Creek. Boom. And now he's been added to that. So you should do that minimum for everyone in your database, no matter where they live. That's the cool thing. Because who doesn't want information on their neighborhood? Houses have sold. And so you also want that. So let's say, for example, you have a lead that's come in from a Facebook ad that you've done, but you don't know where they live. And realistically, a couple times I've done it where I've taken the time to go into Realist to see if they are property owners, but that takes a lot of time. And often when people are doing open houses, depending on the price point, they may not live in the area or they may not have property, or we all know that Realist is as good as the person who entered that information that day. And like, my house doesn't show up if you type it in my name. So that happens on it, and that's okay. But this is a great way to do it. But if they don't have an address, what I do is I set them up on a neighborhood watch for that house that they came to see, or that in this case, the ad that they clicked on, they were looking, it was a Brookhaven house. So I clicked on neighborhoods around that house so that they're getting information on that.
What if they live in an area where there's no neighborhoods? Because I'm thinking like of contacts that I have that live in different parts of the country that they don't have neighborhoods. Do they do like areas?
Yeah,
I mean, there are some spots with Nextdoor that are not covered because Nextdoor just isn't there yet. And so you have to go back to them. But otherwise, if Nextdoor is there, like my neighborhood isn't on there, I'm Chattahoochee Plantation, because where I live used to be a little township called Chattahoochee Plantation. And yet the neighborhood that's literally at the top of my driveway, but on a different street, is its own neighborhood. But my neighborhood, I'm kind of lumped into a bigger one. So sometimes you'll have that. That's why you have to sometimes zone in on the map pretty quick, pretty closely. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you should minimum do that, because that's going to get them used to getting some information from you too, which is good. And then you can figure out what kind of smart plan you want to do. Like a neighborhood nurture is a great one. If you know someone that's like, that you met at an open house, for example, that you did for somebody, and you know they want to be in that neighborhood, but that wasn't the right house for them, then by all means, you can go ahead and, set them up on a neighborhood search, and then set them up on a, which smart plan? Just on the, I guess I have the Facebook lead one. So you could do that. You can also, I have an open house lead one that's pretty similar to the Facebook lead. It just has slightly different wording because it didn't say you were looking at houses on Facebook. Does that make sense? And they're all in there. And again, you don't have to recreate them. Just go into the library in the smart plans and find one that works for the scenario. What I would do is think about, so what I like to do is I kind of like to think like, okay, I want to get everyone who I don't have their addresses, and I'm going to set them up based on where I got their information. So like that, my house in Brookhaven that I have on the market, I'm going to set them up on searches for that area and set them up on a smart plan for that area. Or I want to do a text one for them. You know, I'll kind of think about it. So I'm kind of doing those people kind of lumped together, hopefully. So I'm not having to go through my database one by one all the time. Because I can probably edit it out based on people in smart plans already. Okay, does that help?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what else, William? Are you there? Come back, Bill. Are you guys supposed to be doing a launch mastermind right now?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
Okay.
We are supposed to be doing a launch mastermind. I'm ready to take over, but does anyone else have any questions for Susan or anything on command while she's inside?
I'm going to stop share, and then I'm going to double check that anyone who needed to be added on to command. Where's the chat? Okay, Liz, I'm going to write that down and I'll add you guys in. Donna, I thought I put you in there. Sorry about that. Heather M, Heather F. We have a lot of Heathers right now.
I know.
I know when someone says Heather needs help, and I'll be like, which one? F, M, C. I think we have another one too. I think there are 2 C's. There are. Heather Comer, Heather Cromer, too. Where are we on Facebook ads?
Cromer is with a K.
Correct.
That is true. At least it's ones with a K. We have like 6 others at the office right now.
Tony Corbett. Okay, I think I got everyone. Oh, Rhonda. Oh, Rhonda, I think I added you on the other day. But I'll double check if I didn't. Okay, command. Okay, I'll invite all of you. You have to get approved by the admins. So sometimes it takes a day. Sometimes it takes 5 minutes. Just depends.
And it helps if you have, it helps if you have something in your, on your Facebook page that shows you're with KW.
Yes, actually you need to do that. So make sure that in your profile, you say agent at Keller Williams Realty Consultants. Add that in there. First of all, you should just have that in there. So everyone, when they click on you and they're like your old high school friend, moved back to town and they're like, oh, I wonder what she's up to. And they're like, Liz, oh my gosh, you're a realtor now? I'm moving to town. Maybe you can help me. That can happen. So make sure you have that in there because yeah, if you don't have that in there, they won't add you to the group. They've got to see that you're somehow KW related because it's only for KW agents. And with that, I wrap up what I have to share, I guess, unless anyone has any questions on anything. No, you guys, I'm always here for you. If you have questions on contracts or command or DocuSign, I'll help you the best I can. If not, I'll punch you off to the person that can help you. But I am here for you, myself and Kathy Ray as well. So don't forget our awesome Kathy Ray. We're both the mentors in the office, and we're here to help you walk you through your contracts. You know, if people within PC aren't available to talk to or whatever, feel free to reach out to us at any time, always.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much, Susan.
You're welcome.
Very grateful for your time and for your expertise.
You're welcome. You guys have a great weekend too.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. So, was that helpful? What do we think?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Very good. I am working on finalizing our guest for next Friday. As soon as I have that person's name, I will share that. But in the meantime, that's going to kind of be our little thing. 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock on Friday, we'll have a top producer come in and share their story and give some tips and strategies that they're using. And then 1 to 2, we'll do our launch mastermind. So talk to me a little bit about what topics you would like to discuss. We can go a lot of different directions. What does our chief need today?
If nobody else wants to go, Aubrey showed me, what was it? What did I tell you, Heather? Sly
Broadcaster.
Sly broadcaster. I'm going to try that today. And I was wondering, besides saying, hey, this is Liz Kennedy, blah, 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 I'd like to invite you to my open house. Is there anything else I need to include in that message when I invite people to the open house?
Let me think about that for a second. I might, like, you want to give them something like,
Yeah, some sort of
there
hook.
needs to be like some
Yeah.
kind of value,
Yeah.
right? We're going to have some, you
I
know,
liked the thing that you had me do, Bill. I'd like to invite you to a neighbors only preview, and I did that before the open house started.
did you have good response on that?
Not necessarily. I didn't have much response at all at that open house, with it being Father's Day weekend and everything. And most of what I left was messages. So I honestly don't know, but I liked the psychology of it.
Yeah, I like the psychology of it too. And that kind of hopefully that would separate the neighbors from coming during the time when you really want to be focused on the buyers. However, you know, a lot of people will say, oh my gosh, open houses, all I got was neighbors. That's the wrong attitude. Okay. Neighbors own homes.
Yeah.
Who do we like to talk to? People that own homes. Okay. If they're coming to your open house, it is a decent indication they may not have somebody that they rely on, right? They probably don't have a search app on their phone, or they'd already search it, right? Because otherwise they know that they can just go. I mean, most people I would think would know that, hey, if I see that home around the corner and I don't feel like getting dressed and getting the kids ready and walking over there to see the home, I'd rather just look at the pictures online, then I'll just Google the address, or I'll put it into my search app or whatever. So if they're showing up, or they'll ask the realtor for the information, right? So if they're showing up, it might be an indication they don't have a realtor, right? I might say something to the effect of, you know, we're going to have you know, coffee and donuts, or, you know, we're going to be giving away a little, you know, gift certificate to a local, you know, restaurant or something like that. I mean, you could do that for, you know, we're going to do a drawing for all the neighbors that attend or something like that.
Okay.
And literally it could be like a $20 gift card for a local restaurant or something, right? Would you trade $20 for 10 people to show up?
Yes.
Would you trade $20 for one person to show up? I would.
Yes. Yes.
And I did get one neighbor who came by, thinking back on it, who said, hey, I live across the street, blah, 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 started the normal neighbor thing. And then, I don't know, I thought to ask, do you rent or do you own? Oh, we rent. And that was the one that had that eminent domain issue that had come up. They were renting across the street, and they're looking at around because they like the neighborhood.
Yep. Great job. Again, all she's doing, all that was a simple, curious question. Oh, do you rent in the neighborhood, or do you own? Right? Or you could say, how long have you lived here? What's your favorite part of the neighborhood? Right? When I have buyers call in and want to know stuff about the neighborhood, what do you think I should share with them? Right? Oh, there's this awesome coffee shop that's like around the corner. You take a right and then your second left, and that's where the coffee shop is. That place is awesome. Right? Does that help you?
Yes, it does a lot. I'm looking around right now. I'm sitting outside where I'm going to have the open house, and I'm looking where I should get a gift card from.
Right. And what should you do? I wouldn't get a gift card from like Fridays or something. I'd get a gift card from some unique place that you could walk into the store or the restaurant or whatever, or like a coffee shop or something slightly unique, right? Yep. And speak to the owner and say, hey, you know, I'm Liz, I'm a local agent. I wanted to see if you would be open to me giving out a gift card. Oh, I mean, think about it saying it like this. Would you be open to me giving out a gift card to your restaurant for some neighbors that might attend an open house that I'm promoting? They may just give it to you. Yeah. Because that's like vague enough for them to like possibly take the bait that you might be asking them to give it to you. And if they don't take the bait, you just buy it. Okay. See what I'm saying? Yep. By the way, you know, do you live in the neighborhood? right? How did you come to choose to open up your store in Roswell?
Okay.
Right? How did you come to open your store here? Right? And you just have a conversation with them about their business. Right? How are you guys?
Yeah.
How are you guys pivoting based on COVID? Right? Get that guy's information. Chances are he has a house also.
Right.
Or she has a house also. Maybe they own, maybe they rent. Doesn't make a difference. Get them in your database. See what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay. Anyone else have any ideas to help Heather? Or I'm sorry, to help Liz? Okay. Well, whenever I ask for topics, Liz is generally the first one to shout out. Who has something else they want to talk about? The person who speaks the loudest gets their issue addressed. All right. It sounds like everyone's running a perfect business. What issues are we having? Are we noticing some issues with when we're on the phone scripting, with objection handlers? Are you coming across any patterns of behavior out there that we could address? Or are we having any tech challenges? Walk me through this.
Bill, I have a topic.
Okay.
As you know, I had my inspection last night on my first property.
Yep.
With my buyer, and I'm expecting that to be finished today and to receive the inspection report this evening.
Okay.
So what types of things should I be looking for in this inspection report? This home is on the market. It was on the market as is. The listing agent pretty much made it clear that they were not going to do any repairs. So just what should I be looking for in the inspection report? And then if there are major things, like I do know that the air conditioning unit outside is 17 years old. The water heater inside is 17 years old, and beyond its,
Useful life.
normal lifespan.
Okay. Okay, so let's back up for a couple seconds. So first of all, you got to set proper expectations. So we talked about this little offline, right? Making sure that the buyer doesn't expect, we don't want the buyer to go in expecting basically a summary report of the inspection and then be able to cut and paste that and say, here, Mr. Seller, I want you to fix all this. And then expect that to actually happen. That's not going to happen. And was personally my biggest pet peeve of all. I couldn't stand that. What that told me was the other agent, the buyer's agent, wasn't setting any expectations whatsoever. Don't ask me to fix every little line item on that report. Okay. So what I would suggest is, I think the most important things are health concerns and safety concerns, and obviously structural issues or any major system related issues. So for example, servicing the HVAC system or fixing the water heater expansion tank was more important to me than fixing a piece of wood rot. Okay. However, it's not my choice. I'm not buying the home. So after I set up the expectations, I would send a list to them of the report, obviously, because they paid for it, and say, tell me a little bit about what you're thinking. What do you think? Okay. And they'll tell you what the most important things are. I would completely ignore the fact about as is. We'll come back to that in a second, but that's just pre-negotiation. That's a crock anyway. Okay. If they end up saying, no, I told you as is, then fine. But if you just take that at face value and don't bother asking, that's a disservice to your client. Okay. So we're gonna then get the report of, okay, this needs fixed, this needs updating, this blah, 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 blah. They're gonna tell you what they have issues with, and then you're gonna write the report. You might challenge them a little bit on, hey, maybe we can ask for this instead of this, or that type of thing, okay? Try to keep it to, I'd say, like, maybe 5 or 6 things if possible, something like that. Again, take the things that are related to health, safety, structural, foundational, and system related. Pam, you're on, right? I think Pam hopped off. Wanted to see if she wanted to give some feedback on that. That's what I would generally do. Okay. There is some strategy involved in sharing the inspection report with the seller. I tend to share it because the way that the paperwork, the way the law, disclosure law works is that if they know about an issue, right, then they either have to disclose it or fix it, right? Not for you, but so for example, let's say the house had mold and it had radon and it had a HVAC system that wasn't functioning properly, okay? And you share the inspection report with them, you ask for all that stuff to get fixed, and then they say no and you leave the deal. Now, I'm not saying they're always gonna do this, but they would be legally bound to disclose that information to the future buyers. So if they're gonna have to disclose it to the future buyers or fix it so they don't have to disclose it to the future buyers, they may as well sell it to you. You follow that logic?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's in their best interest to try to work with you. Now, in an as-is sale, I wouldn't go back and say, hey, we got this backward electrical outlet, we'd like you to fix that. Don't ask for that stuff. Ask for the larger stuff, okay? And if they tell you no, at least you can say, I tried, okay? But the whole purpose, by the way, of the inspection is you're reconfirming that you believe the home is worth what you believe it to be worth in its newfound condition, and you're prepared to continue to move forward with the terms you've already agreed upon, or adjusted terms based on any concessions for the repairs or any type of agreement to fix any of that stuff, okay? So let's talk about another possible response you might get. Not necessarily with this as-is person, but they could respond back and say, okay, we'll have a plumber fix that, we'll have an electrician fix that, we'll have a roofer fix that, we'll have a handyman fix that, right? Or they might say, gosh, that sounds like $3,000 worth of stuff. We just take $3,000 off. Let's just take $3,000 off the price. Okay, there's 2 major issues I see with that. First is we don't know it's $3,000. So then at that point you would go in and say, okay, I appreciate you being willing to take care of some of this stuff. I just want to make sure that the number that you're suggesting, I just want to make sure that my client knows whether that will cover all the things that are important to them. So you might end up getting an estimator to come out and say, okay, this is a $500 problem. Oh, actually, this is a $1,200 problem. And then you can see how far $3,000 will go. Okay. In a perfect world, you want the appropriate vendor to fix the appropriate problem, right? I don't want the dude's brother coming fixing everything in the home for my buyer. I want them to hire a licensed electrician to fix the electrical stuff. I want them to hire a licensed plumber to fix the plumber stuff. I want the appropriate professional roofer to come out and fix the roofing stuff. Now, I don't particularly care so much if, like, the seller or the seller's, uncle or something installs a new fan. That's not as big of a deal. But for like craftsman type things, like I don't want the seller like tiling the bathroom or the shower stall. I want that done by a professional, right? You want to make sure you're asking for receipts of all work that's been completed, right? So you can prove that the work has been completed, and obviously you know who did it. The other issue with taking a lump sum as a reduction in the sales price is that those problems still exist. And when the buyer goes and buys the home, they've got $3,000 worth of work to do. And yeah, they've saved themselves somewhere in the neighborhood of around $14, $15 a month in mortgage payments, but that doesn't free up the cash to make the stuff happen, right? So if your client doesn't have the cash ready, or choosing not to spend the cash, then reducing the price isn't all that helpful. Does that make sense?
Okay, good.
There isn't a way that you can get them the cash, because legally you
Well, the
can't
other
do
way-
that. Apply that to closing, right?
Well, the other way around it, which you have to get lender approval for this, is to say something to the effect of seller agrees to pay invoice number 101 to Joe Schmo Plumbing, invoice number 102 to Joe Schmo Roofing, invoice number 103 to Joe Schmo Carpentry, whatever it is, and then the money never actually leaves. The money is not necessarily transferred from the seller to the buyer, so they don't count it as a concession for the purposes of the loan. However, the point is accomplished, which means the seller can use proceeds from the sale to pay for these invoices to be paid, right? So the buyer gets the stuff paid for, yet they don't have to take the foreman reduction of price, and it's essentially cash that's paying for the stuff. Does that make sense? In that kind of scenario, you need to check with the buyer's lender to see how that phrasing needs to be spelled out so that it is approvable. Okay. Does everyone follow where we were going with that?
I do. Could you also at this point, because we did not ask for any seller contribution to closing costs.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. That's another way to do it. So for example, if you, like Donna says, let's just say, for example, she's got $6,000 in closing costs that her buyer is going to have to pay. And for whatever reason, the negotiation went a direction where she didn't get any concessions from the seller. So what's happening from a financial standpoint is the buyer is bringing their down payment to the table, and they're bringing the $6,000 to the table. Follow me so far? So let's say the repairs are $3,000. If the seller agrees to pay $3,000 towards closing cost, that's $3,000 less that the buyer has to bring to the table that they basically have already told you they have. So that also is another way of accomplishing that. But you can only do that if there's a gap in the difference between the closing costs that have been offered by the seller, paid for by the seller, and what that true number is going to be. Now, certainly there's a gap in Donna's situation because they're not paying any closing costs. Does that make sense?
Yes, and Bill, did you say?
I kind of cut you off. Was that where you were headed?
Did you say that all of that is addressed in the amendment to address concerns? Is that where you would set out all those terms, or how do you handle that?
Yes. Thanks, Liz. Yes, all that stuff is addressed in the amendment to address concerns. Yes. Oftentimes, how do I want to say this? Yeah, all that is addressed in the amendment to address concerns. Yes.
So I have another question about the same transaction. This is an FHA loan. There were some things that were brought up in the section that may be issues. I guess FHA appraiser is out there.
You're a little fuzzy. You're a little fuzzy. You're a little fuzzy.
Can you hear me now?
A little bit better.
Okay, I was just saying, when the FHA appraiser is out there, we have handrails missing. The rails on the deck are too far apart. Do you foresee like issues with the loan at this point? There are things in the inspection related to safety and health.
So there's actually two things you're asking. First of all, the inspection has nothing to do with the loan, the home inspection, right? So for example, whatever is revealed through that inspection, stuff like missing handrails and backward outlets and these kind of things, that is basically stuff that you and the seller have the ability to negotiate out. Okay, that is completely separate from the FHA appraisal. And when the guy is coming out for FHA appraisals or to appraise the home for the FHA loan, what they're going to look for is, does the home meet the quote minimum standards to be a FHA allowable home, right? Most of those standards are health and safety related. Now they're a little different than what I would maybe say would appear on a home inspector's report. The home inspector's report is going to be a hell of a lot more detailed. The appraisal does not take the place of a home inspection. Okay. Now that is one of the biggest things that your most commonly noted items on an FHA appraisal that will cause the loan to have a little bit of a challenge that needs to be worked through. So there is a line in the FHA loan exhibit that says that the seller will pay X number of dollars towards any, quote, lender required repairs. Did you have a number in that?
Yes, I just put 500.
Okay, so what, and they signed off on that, right?
Yes.
Okay, so basically if there's lender required repairs, which that might be putting up a handrail and, putting an extra, stick of wood or something in between those gaps. The other big ones they look for are like active water leaks. They also oftentimes will look for, I've seen even little silly stuff like not having a plate cover on electrical outlets, right? I've also seen things like broken glass. Like if they have broken glass, any panes of glass that are broken, they usually make a big deal about that. Any presence of anything that remotely looks like mold, right? And missing handrails. So there's a possibility that that lender will come back and say, hey, this got to be fixed. And then you'll end up having to go get an estimate on how much it costs to fix it. And the way that contract basically reads is that the seller will pay the first time $500. Everything beyond 500, you got to go back and negotiate.
Okay. Thank you.
Does everyone understand what I just said? Everyone understand what I just said?
Yes.
Okay, we got a thinning group here. What else is on your mind? So by the way, the purpose of a mastermind is, just basically bringing your successes, your challenges, your questions, all to the table. Ideally, it should be like less of a lecture, if you will, and more of a, okay, Heather has a question. We give her some ideas on how to handle it. We all share some of the things we're doing well, some of the things we're struggling with, and we all kind of put our heads together to try to help one another. That's really the goal. And the content should be relevant to people that are in your production levels, right? Somebody that's kind of launching or relaunching their business, that is, kind of more concerned, let's say, with lead generation than hiring somebody. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, what are we going to do this weekend to meet some people and put some new people in our database?
I actually have 2 appointments for this weekend. Well, I have one for sure and one maybe. And then one appointment for next Thursday and then a possible one for Monday.
Okay.
I guess my question is it's all for sale by owners. And so I basically just got them on the phone and told them that I didn't have a buyer right now, but I would like to come view their property.
Wait, Heather, I lost you there for a second. I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
Okay, yeah. When I got these people on the phone, basically, told them who I am and the company and stuff. And then I told them that I did not have a specific buyer in mind, but I wanted to come view their property and then kind of ask them if they had an agent. They all said no. Some of them were very firm that they weren't looking for an agent, and other ones were kind of open to the idea. So what are things that we can print out and take to them? I know the snapshots and things like that, to be if you were to hire me, this is what I could offer you.
I don't think they're ready for that quite yet, to be honest. I think you need to draw out some pain first. So the questions really have to stick to the motivation, right? What's making you want to move? When are you hoping to be there by, right? How many offers have you had on the property? How many showings have you had on the property, right? What are your favorite parts of being a real estate agent? What are your least favorite parts of being a real estate agent? That's supposed to get a little smile because they're basically pretending to be real estate agents, right? So what do you love? What do you love about being a real estate agent? It's called a pattern interrupt. It's a total random question that they're not expecting.
Yeah.
Okay. What are the things that have frustrated you the most about doing this yourself? Right? Because they're an overwhelmingly high percentage of for sale by owners will eventually hire an agent. And you want to be the one that's there when they crack.
When I was reading through some of the scripts, is it in tone or how you say it? Because some of the scripts I was like, I don't know, it kind of came off a little condescending, but maybe it's just the way I was reading it.
Give me an example.
Get to the page. Like, it wasn't in this one that I was reading it. I guess just like the 50 million questioning them, which kind of brings me back to what I was saying earlier, that I'm used to a different type of approach when selling. But I had it in one of the books here that I was going through. I can't find the specific. It was something like, how's that working out for you? And I don't know, I just didn't know if I was saying it the correct way.
Oh, like, you know, if they're balking basically at your offerings, I'm trying to think of where that script is technically, but you're just saying, hey, how's that working out for you? And that is a little condescending. It's like, hey, what's the experience like? I mean, how is all this going for you? Right? What are you enjoying about this process? What are you not enjoying about this process?
And of course, because I want to find the script, I can't find it now, but it was basically questions like that. And so the initial meetings, then you're saying, needs to be more of a softer approach. Just let them talk about them. And then could I still put them on a smart plan though, since I already have their phone number and emails because I got that today?
I mean, I would suggest that you do, like, you kind of have to dance around it a little bit because they're specifically telling you they don't want to work with you, right? So what they do need to hear is that you have resources, you care, you know the area, and you're going to stay in touch with him until he sells, right? And you're going to ask him questions about learning about him and his motives and his goals. And then you're going to just, you know, hear him. And then you're going to say, great, I'll keep this in mind. I'm on the phone with buyers and sellers all day long. I might find that this is a match for somebody. And if so, I'll let you know. In the meantime, though, I'm going to call you every once in a while and just check in and see how the process is going for you. And regardless of what he says, I would just call him. I'd call him every Monday morning. And this would be my list of questions. I think I went over this yesterday a little bit. Is the home still available, sir? Or is it already under contract, right? The next question would be, how many offers did you get this week? How many showings did you get this week? Did you have this week? Next question would be, how many of those were agents, right? If I was to do one thing to help you this week, what would it be?
And they'll answer these. You won't feel like I'm being intrusive.
I don't care what he thinks. I mean, the fact of the matter is the home's still available and you're on the phone trying to help him. So if he says, Heather, I don't feel like answering all your questions. Say, okay, well, I'll call you next week. And if the home's still available, then we'll talk about it again.
Okay.
And if he's like, why are you being so assertive? Say, hey, you do want an assertive person to help you sell your home one day, right? I'm just interviewing for the job to sell your home. I just want you to know who to call. Because I don't want, when you crack, I don't want you to call a lousy agent. I want you to call me.
Okay.
They want somebody firm. They want somebody that's confident. Okay. You're not being rude. You're simply asking them the questions.
Okay.
All right, you guys. Thank you for spending a couple hours with us, and enjoy your weekend. Go be as productive as possible, and go add some people to your database. Go sign some paperwork. Go spend some time with your family. Rest up and report your numbers. I'll speak with you soon. Rhonda,
Thank
have
you.
a great week. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye.